These days, we have the opportunity to communicate much more than in that any time in the world's history. And it's instantaneous communication around the globe. A lot of it, and rapidly. So much of it, though, is not really person to person. We share a lot. We talk a lot. We show a lot. But many of us recognize that it's not the same type of communication as when we are face to face, looking at each other in the eye, and able to share with the kind of feedback that comes from having somebody nearby while we communicate.
What we long for is to look in someone's eye, or to hear real laughter from the person, or get helping hands to be able to help another person, taste someone's fresh-baked apple pie, hear a familiar tune played by a neighbor, maybe even a barn raising, or learning to quilt from an older neighbor.
What it all points to is community. That coming together in a way that everyone enjoys and loves and longs for.
In our great-grandparents' generation, everyone had chickens,
Many had a milk cow.
a garden for food.
There were very few grocery stores, and those that existed didn't have everything you could ever imagine.
Their farms had the produce that they ate, or they'd barter with a neighbor to get something that their neighbor grew.
They churned their own butter.
They thrashed their own wheat to make flour.
Many spun and wove their own fabrics to make clothes.
They made their own soaps and candles.
They had to create the tools that they needed to solve their problems.
They used herbs for medicine for themselves and for the animals.
They were self-reliant, and if they had to, they could turn to their community for help and support.
As the 20th century unfolded, so did convenience and modern techniques.
People spent more time making money and buying at stores what previous generations had grown for themselves.
The need for community disappeared along with the skills and the knowledge that enabled previous generations to be self-reliant.
Looking back is what we need to do to move forward. What previous generations did naturally in coming together as a community and producing their own food and solving the problems they faced is how families can thrive without the need for stores and all the commercialization that has gone on for food, clothing, and other needs.
What is discovered at any Homestead conference, expo, or gathering is the need to be with people who feel the way that you feel. People who have an inner drive to produce their own food, their clothing, and solve their problems with limited commercial input. People who are enlivened by being with those who have the same longings and desires.
The common thread from previous generations to now is a need for community. In 1867, the Grange was organized, and it was known as the Patrons of Husbandry. some of the purposes of the Grange, including assisting farmers to come together to purchase machinery that was needed, to learn skills and knowledge about farming techniques, also some of the new developments that were being discovered. Grain elevators were constructed so that the grains could be accumulated and ready for shipment and sold for higher prices by having larger quantities to sell. There was also a bit of working to solve problems with the pricing that the railroads were charging for transporting the materials from the farms, the produce, the grains, the animals. And most of all, they were for providing a support network for farm families.
I personally like the definition of Grange in the UK. It's an isolated farm with its farmhouses and outbuildings. I think that's...
The Grange has a long history.
Dances, dinners, and a place to meet.
And the ideas of the Grange still live today, and we believe can have a great benefit to those who now call themselves homesteaders.
Now, we don't have a Grange right here close to us.
That we know of.
Our closest one is about 2 hours away up in the city. But we have a solution.
We suggest what we are calling 4 seasons homestead gatherings, which are regional. No one has to travel very far to get to them. Something we want to do close to us, and something we recommend for homesteaders anywhere in the world.
So within a 2-hour period of time, close to where you're at, so that nobody has to travel far. If they want to travel further, they can. We're going to have different homesteads, and we're going to be first, do home gatherings, homestead gatherings. Simple, easy, not costly. So let's explain some of it to you. We're going to take the fall, so there could be, we're calling it seasons for
fall,
winter,
spring,
and summer.
All 4 seasons. So 4 times a year, great times to get together as at the beginning or the ending of that season to share what's applicable at that time. Each season has its own special needs and special opportunities. A lot of skills can be shared. Great time to learn new skills from those who know them and can share them intelligently.
Everyone who's going to host a gathering will set up their own rules, because they are the ones who have a place that can accommodate or not accommodate. We know that we could go find a park and do it in, but we would love to have people here on our homestead.
Seems more appropriate.
We believe that we can accommodate 25 cars. So you can stuff as many people as you want in those cars, but 25 cars. So if you're coming together in 2 different cars in the city, switch to
find a
one
place
car.
to park one and bring one here, because we don't have the parking for more.
So these are some of the things that we want to do, and we're super excited about this. At these gatherings, we would like to have whoever is coming, we're going to choose from that group, or you're going to volunteer from that group, to teach a skill, to be a presenter of demonstrating something. We'll bring our music from those people that are coming, live music. I would love to have a dance.
And for those who are coming, you don't have to be a presenter. You don't have to be a musician.
We can't have everybody be a presenter.
Now, it is going to be a potluck. Everybody can bring something to share, to eat.
Storytelling. And no cost, no entry fee. Just come. Now, there are some things that you will need to bring. If you have a canopy that opens up like they have at the farmer's market, bring that. Bring your own chairs to sit in. And ours is planned for October 23rd. So you might want to bring a coat.
We don't know what Mother Nature is going to do at that
Haven't
point.
a clue. What else? Oh, seed swaps, produce. Now's the time to unload produce if you want to exchange produce. And just be able to sit and enjoy and talk.
What we're asking for those who are close by or close enough that you feel you can come to the Bolivar area for this, we want folks to RSVP. Once again, we have a limit of 25 cars. For those bringing food in crock pots, we suspect we can handle 10 crock pots plugged in to keep things warm. Be a little concerned to go beyond that. So the first 10 folks who say, I'm coming and I am bringing a crock pot of whatever, the first 10 we're going to say, great. After that, we're going to say,
Could you bring something cold? Bread, something.
So that's the 2 RSVP points, is that we need to know how many are coming, because we'll have it capped, and then the number of crock pots. But other than that, we're coming together and to have a great time. And so what we're asking for as you RSVP is say, here are my skills that I feel comfortable in teaching. And out of that, we'll pick the ones that
we're only going to have a couple of
not everybody's going to do it, but there'll be a chance, obviously, to share while we're just sitting around chatting. But as far as a formal presentation in front of the whole group, it'll probably be limited based on time to just a few.
And don't be modest if you play the fiddle or the guitar or one of those things that you could come and share with us.
And then the second thing is, are you bringing a crock pot?
Well, this sounds like a really fun gathering.
So what have we missed? I think we've said it all.
I do too.
And what we're really talking about here is community building like your grandparents, maybe great or great-great-grandparents did. Great place to learn, to enjoy, have some good food to eat, and go away filled in many ways.
So down below in the show notes, you will see an email, of which we will open, and
an email address that
you can send to, so that and that's the way we'll do it. Don't put in here that you want to come. I mean, you can put in here that you want to come. That's great. But make sure you email us. We realize this is 2 months away, but in between that time, we have another expo to speak at and the Homesteaders of America conference, which is 2 weeks before this one.
And a few personal things.
So we hope that we get a good response. So we're 30 minutes above Springfield. Kansas City is 2 hours away for us. Branson is an hour and 15 minutes, so we definitely go into Arkansas to be 2 hours away. Joplin, I think, is 2 hours away that way. And and I know Mountain Grove is only an hour and a half from us, so it's beyond that.
So it's a big circle where it's relatively convenient for people.
What we're trying to do is put together a community that we can be like-minded in.
And to demonstrate that it can be done and encourage others to do the same kind of thing.
So if you do not live in that area, then someone needs to help get together, and we can even help. If you live in a certain area, we can advertise that area for you. That would be great. We're thrilled to do that. And now we've been talking about so many pioneering things and so many stuff, those things like that. I have to go watch Sarah Plain and Tall.
Look forward to seeing everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.